Hi, welcome back to another episode of Soundcheck. I'm your host, Yasmin Yilmaz, and today's guest is a DJ all the way from the UK. Her name is Ab0.
Hi, my name is Ab0, and you're listening to 90.3 WMSC.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Abby, also known as Ab0, and I'm from Lincolnshire in the UK.
So when or how were you first introduced to the electronic scene and EDM?
I don't remember a time I wasn't listening to it. Like when I was really young, like 6 or 7, like I was watching Minecraft YouTubers and then the songs would be in the outro and I'd go and listen and then just that's
like
it.
Yeah, no, I totally felt that because like in elementary school, that's when I started getting into it. And then like you were saying with YouTube, that's how I started, like just from surfing YouTube. That's how I started finding out about Krewella and Pegboard Nerds and Porter Robinson. So I totally get you with our Minecraft videos. But I mentioned Krewella. They're a powerful female act. They support you. In fact, you were featured in the recent playlist Krewella Guest List. I mean, that is insane. The music industry, specifically EDM as well, can be intimidating, especially since it's like a male dominated. And I recently watched a documentary that I mentioned last night too, Underplayed. And I didn't realize how many other challenges that there were when it comes to what women have to face. So what keeps you motivated to just rise above those battles and keep pursuing this career?
It's just like my dream. Like I just want to perform and produce, and it's a shame that being a woman it kind of impacts that. It shouldn't, but it does. So yeah,
no, totally understand that, because like I mean, one of the biggest things was that women don't get the full credit, or they're like, the minute something's like good, they're like, oh, ghostwriter, ghost producer, and that's a shame. And it's like, I'm hoping, and we're starting to see a shift, especially in the industry, that it's getting more progressive in that sense. So hopefully sooner or later that these issues will start to fade away and be history. Going off of that, you specialize in drum and bass. And one thing I did notice was when you first released Redemption back in January of 2019, there's something, no, you're good. When I first listened to that, I was like, yo, I can picture myself like driving as the sun's coming down, it's mad chill. But then as I was listening to your other music and into your EP Ultraviolet and up to now your single Come and Play, I'm not very good with technical terms, but the best way to describe it emotionally is I feel like it's gotten more intense and like fast paced. And there's something about Come and Play that I love because I also like rock, and it just reminds me of rock for some reason. Like it was low-key res. So my question is, do you see yourself expanding from drum and bass or adding onto it and dipping into other like sub-EDM genres?
I have been experimenting with other genres recently. Like I've been doing a bit of hardstyle. I have been trying to do dubstep for pretty much since the start, and I'm still not very good at it. So no one's gonna hear any of that ever. Been trying a bit of bass house, speed house, but I usually just fail at all of those and just revert back to drum and bass. Or like if the idea is good and I just can't execute it properly, then I will just bump the BPM up to 174 and make it drum and bass instead.
So what pulls you into drum and bass? Like what about that genre really just grabs your attention? You're like, yeah, this is what I'm trying to pursue.
I don't know, like it's just so energetic and I love it because like my mind goes really, really fast, and like drum and bass kind of matches the speed of my mind, so it calms me down somehow. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that 100% makes sense, because like when I have to pull out an all-nighter, catch me with like fast BPM music, especially drum and bass, so I totally get that. So coming off of that question, who influences your sound? Like what do you reference or seek to create your music?
It depends on the vibe. So like with Come and Play, like the inspiration was like Pendulum and Muzz and like Dirty Phonics, that kind of sound, like really hard with rock elements. But like for the like more liquid drum and bass stuff, like the Ultraviolet EP, it was like Ramesses B and Maddock and Faint and really melodic artists.
when it comes to that, how do you come up with new ideas for new releases? Like, how does a brainstorming work? Because that's one question that a lot of my friends who are non-EDM listeners, they're like, it starts sounding the same. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. It doesn't. But how do you start coming up with a new idea to try to form a different or unique sound?
First of all, I love that you just went, no, you're wrong. That's perfect. But I don't know, like I can't describe my creative process because it just happens. Like I'll have my keyboard in front of me and I don't know chords at all on piano. I just put my finger on the keys and then I choose a different note at the same time and then that's an idea. That's how it's birthed.
It just comes to be.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly, that's the way though. That's the way. It just starts smoothing out. Everything just starts smoothing out once you're like, all right, I got some note here. Oh, wait, that sounded good. Let me try that again.
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Okay, gotcha. So going back to like your releases and stuff like that, like I said, you started releasing over 2 years now, I believe. So out of the work you released, this is hard because I know they all your children, but which do you hold dear to your heart and why?
You can't make me choose.
I was like, dude, this is the hardest question.
I feel like this is the hardest question for any producer to pick a favorite, but it definitely won't be any of the house music. Because that's no. I think the one dearest to my heart is probably We Could Fall.
Okay.
Probably just because the lyrics hit close to home and it's not produced the best. It's probably the worst produced song on the Ultraviolet EP, but I like it the most.
Yeah, no, it's 100% a vibe. Like when I was going through Ultraviolet when I first came across her music, which was from that stream where they were like showing us the guest list playlist, and I was like, yo, this slaps. What? I need to interview this girl. Like, hold up. Oh. So that leads me to my next question. You've been performed. Notice that you performed at many like at venues and such. And my question is, what was your favorite venue to perform at? And what is one of your favorite memories from that place?
Well, I've only performed at one venue, but I've performed there twice.
Okay.
That was Halo in Bournemouth. It used to be a church and then it was converted into a nightclub, which is awesome. One of my favorite memories, probably when at the last show I did, I supported for Katie from Coven, and like during her last songs, I was going up after her, like I was kind of behind the stage just like waiting for my turn. And she just looked at me and she knew I was nervous because like I wasn't nervous to perform. I love performing, but I was nervous because I love her and like she's one of my idols. And she just invited me up on stage to like dance with her during her last song, and it was beautiful and I want to do that again.
So going off of that, you know, I originally was gonna bring up you have an upcoming event in July where you'll be back to back with Hexorcist, but you recently announced that you'll be headlining. So let's talk about that one real quick. What are you looking forward to the most, man? That's huge.
Honestly, the visuals. I'm looking forward to like, because I used to do a lot of 3D modeling in like Blender and animation, and now I'm getting back into that for the sake of making my own visuals, and I've modeled like a really cool like my face with the mask on, and it's like a robot, it's got glowy eyes and stuff, and I'm just really excited to just like be playing and then turn around and it's just on this massive screen. I wish I could just see it. Like I wish there was like a screen in front of me as well so I could see it at the same time.
I wonder how cool I look right now.
Yeah, because I can't just keep turning around while I'm playing.
You're just like, wait a minute, let me just check this real quick. Oh my god, that's so cool though that you create your own visuals. So when were you always interested in like creating your own visuals as well?
Yeah, but like I never really had the time. So like for the last two shows, I actually paid my friend Duckworth Sound to do the visuals for me, and they were super good. But unfortunately, like at the venue, the screen wasn't just a rectangle. It was kind of like split up really weird, so like my logo wasn't really visible.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was dissected a bit.
So this next portion of the interview is called Vibe Check. It's brand new, and it's pretty much just like a speed round. And what I'm gonna ask you these questions, first thing that comes off the top of your head is your answer.
Oh god.
So get ready. First question. Who are some dream collaborations that you would love to work with?
This one's easy. Krewella, Coven, Pegboard Nerds, Muzz, Protostar, Subfocus, Faint, Ramesses B. That's about it.
So going off of that, who would you describe, or how would you describe, excuse me, your dream tour? Like, what are some destinations you're trying to hit and perform at?
I want to tour in America for sure, but the problem is there isn't much of a drum and bass scene there. So I'd like to tour there doing maybe not drum and bass, like maybe dubstep shows and all that. I'd really like to tour with Krewella. Like I've always wanted to do that. But also like I want my friends to be on tour with me. So like Hex Assist, Boltone, all of the raver artists, because they're just really cool guys and they're a laugh.
What are some concerts or festivals that you're trying to go to after this pandemic ends?
All of them.
You're like,
every single one. I've never been to a festival, and the first one I was going to go to was going to be Southwest 4 in 2020, and then COVID happened and I couldn't go.
Yeah, I kid you not. I was like once I turned 18, I was like, I'm gonna go to concerts as much as possible. I'm gonna go to festivals, because I've only been to really 2 concerts. I've been to a Kygo concert and then Electric Guest, which is like an alternative band. And I was like, but I want to experience a festival, like a music festival. Like the energy just from the videos is insane. Like I can only imagine. And like my thing is like, with you performing sets, like I can only imagine how ethereal that's gotta feel.
Yeah, it's brilliant, because I get so anxious like before the set, like when I'm like in the green room and I'm about to go off, I'm like shaking and sweating and I can't breathe, but then the second I get on stage, it's just totally zen, and like that's how I know that that's where I need to be, like on stage.
That's awesome. Yeah, the music kind of takes over you, and it's one of these art forms that, I don't know, it's like life-changing. Whether you create it or you listen to it, you consume it, it impacts your mood and impacts your day. And that's awesome, man. Like,
it's like what Matthias was saying last night. Sorry.
No, you're good, you're good.
He was saying last night, like, music is a language, like, and it really is. And it's like me playing to a crowd. Well, obviously not a proper crowd, they're all socially distanced, but like me playing to people is like me talking to them, like telling them I love them by playing music that I love. Yeah,
it's non-verbal communication. Like one thing that really like connects, like I will be on Spotify searching through songs, and next thing you know, I come across like a French song. I have no idea what it's saying, but I am jamming out. And it's one of those universal, like you were saying, like universal languages that can be listened to across countries, across nations. And I feel like that's why a lot of music festivals are so big, because it allows people to connect from everywhere. So that's really awesome.
Beautiful.
Going off of that, what artist or just genres have you been hooked on recently? Like what is the first thing that comes to mind when you're like, all right, I need to jam out to this real quick?
Definitely Muzz, and just always drum and bass. Like that's my go-to genre because it's my favorite genre. But Muzz has just, he's so good. Like he released an album last year called The Promised Land, and it's just a masterpiece. And I'm just so excited to like support him in July and hear the album live. It's just, I can't wait.
When you first announced that, I was like, hold up, because like I've heard of him. Honestly, I haven't listened to his music, but I heard of him, and I was like, July, the summer weather's hitting. I can only imagine how awesome that day is gonna be. Is there any unexpected genre that you jam out to, like, aka a guilty pleasure, but I don't want to call it that? Anything that people are like, yo, wait, hold up, you listen to that?
Honestly, yes. Occasionally, if I'm feeling a bit down, I will listen to throat singing.
Okay.
Like Mongolian throat singing. It just like I'll just sit on my bed, like with my eyes closed, with throat singing playing from my speaker, and it just clears my mind. I don't
Yeah.
know why I like it. Like it's just
Just
cool.
clicks though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know recently recently I say within like a year or so, one genre that I've just, or a very broad one, that I've gotten into just out of the blue was orchestra. No idea. I was like, yo, hit me up with some violins over here and some cello. I'm jamming out. I don't know. So, not music related. When you're not creating music, what do you love to do?
Well, I like to do like graphic design and 3D modeling and animation. Just looking around my room to see if anything jogs my memory.
Anything gets inspiration.
Video editing is fun. Like I like making memes.
Yes.
That's about it. I don't really do anything else.
That's a lot though, because like you're like a jack of all trades. I mean, you're doing your graphics, you're doing your 3D modeling for your like displays in the back, you're creating the music itself. Like you are really building up your platform from scratch solo. So that is huge. That is an inspiration. So huge congrats.
And then have to, because like
yeah.
I'm just starting out. I don't have the money to be paying for all these people to do stuff for me, so I need to do it myself.
Right.
So
what advice would you give to other girls that are trying to get into this industry? Because it, like earlier said, it is intimidating. It can be looked down upon. I know that as a fact. What advice would you give to them to keep striving for that goal?
Honestly, just go for it. If a man tries to tell you like how to go about your career, don't listen. Just do whatever you want. Like, and if a man tries to give you trouble, just hit him. I don't know.
You're like, back off.
Yeah, honestly.
All right. So this leads me to my last closing questions. Are there any upcoming projects that you're allowed to talk about that you would like to plug in?
Yes, I am working on a new EP currently.
Oh, snap.
It's like the complete opposite vibe of Ultraviolet. So you've got the liquid drum and bass on that one, and this one is going to be much harder.
Okay.
So like lots of inspiration from like Pendulum. I might stick Come and Play on it, so it's that kind of vibe.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it. So going off of that, where can we follow you to stay posted on any of your future work?
Well, I'm most active on Twitter, so that's at Ab0 Music, I think. But I've got Instagram, Ab0 UK, Facebook, Ab0 UK, I think. Maybe it's just Ab0. It'll all be on like my Twitter. If you just find my Twitter, it's all there. Or like it's on my Spotify as well. So like you go to my Spotify, it's just Ab0. All the social links are there. So.
All right, solid. So that's pretty much it. You have successfully done the interview.
Oh.
Thank you so much for coming in today and doing the interview. It was a pleasure being able to talk to you and about your music. I gotta say,
thank you for having me.
Of course, it was great. Like coming in. All of her socials are linked below. If you're interested in her work, you can check them out and stay posted. Thank you so much for watching Soundcheck, and I'll see you next episode. Peace.